A lot of times in my life, I have felt that I am drifting, sort of being on autopilot. And funny enough, on paper, things looked just fine. I was doing what people expected, achieving milestones, ticking boxes. But inside, there was this quiet restlessness, a sense that I wasn't really in touch with myself. And I did try to talk to people to try to explain why I feel the way I feel, and I just couldn't find the right answer. Or maybe I was looking for something else that no answer actually did satisfy me. And that's when I started to ask myself, what if this feeling isn't just anxiety or boredom, but my soul trying to speak to me? And then even bigger question came to me, that if my soul really is trying to speak or have a voice, how do I hear it? Because the soul doesn't send email or calendar invites, and I just don't know how to speak to it. It whispers through emotions, through sudden intuitions, through the ache you feel when you are out of alignment with your own truth. And to have a conversation with your soul, I realized it isn't about hearing words, it's about learning to notice, to sit in silence long enough to catch the signals beneath the noise of everyday life. And when I began exploring this question, I found that different traditions like psychology, philosophy, art all have their own ways of describing what it really means to talk to the soul. Carl Jung, a famous psychologist, often used the word soul not as something abstract or mystical, but as the deepest, most personal layer of our psyche. For Jung, the soul was that inner guide that connects us to meaning. He believed that if we never listen to it, we feel fragmented and lost. His method of conversing with the soul was something called active imagination, one of the concepts that he also talks about in his book. It's like journaling, but with a dialogue. You might write a question like, what do you need right now? And then allow your inner voice, sometimes the voice of your inner child, sometimes a symbol of image, to answer back. And at first, it might feel very strange, even artificial. But Jung believed this was the psyche's way of integrating its hidden unconscious parts. And in my own life, whenever I have tried this through journaling, meditation, or just quiet reflection, I have been surprised by how clear, those inner answers sometimes can be. But, psychology is only one lens. Philosophers have wrestled with this idea for centuries. Kierkegaard spoke of living in despair whenever we aren't aligned with our true self. Heidegger talked about authenticity, that is, the courage to stop living by society's script and instead face our own being. In this context, a conversation with the soul isn't separate from interrogation. Dialogue here isn't just a gentle listening. It's a fierce questioning of my own life. Am I truly living by my values, or just wearing masks handed down to me? Am I saying yes to life as it really is, or am I quietly running away from it? Nietzsche pushed this even further, insisting that the goal of life is to become who you are. For him, speaking with the soul meant facing the most radical question of all. Am I bold enough to create my own value, or am I still following the herd? That kind of questioning is both terrifying and liberating, because it leaves no room for self-deception at all. And then obviously there is art. If psychology gives us tools and philosophy gives us questions, then I believe art gives us expression. And for many artists, creating is most direct way of having this conversation with the soul. When you paint or write poetry or dance or even lose yourself in music, something surpasses logic and speak in a language older than words. Some people call this flow state. There's also a very beautiful book on this concept if you'd like to read it. But it's more than productivity. It feels like the soul moving through your hands, your voice, and your body. Wallace Kandinsky, one of the pioneers of abstract art, once wrote that true art comes from what he called inner necessity, the voice of the soul pressing to be expressed. For him, painting wasn't about copying the outer world, but about giving shape to the invisible currents of the inner one. In a way, every canvas was his way of holding a conversation with the soul, letting its language spill into colors and form. And I have felt this when writing late at night, when words spill onto the page faster than I can think, or while listening to music that somehow knows me better than I know myself. In those moments, the conversation isn't verbal. It's alive, immediate, and undeniable. So, what does it mean to have a conversation with your soul? It could be journaling in Jung's way, facing existential questions like Nietzsche, or creating art that bypasses language altogether. But underneath all these methods is the same truth your soul is already speaking through your emotions, your restlessness, and your quiet longings. The real task then isn't to find the voice, it's to make space to listen. And because when you do, life stops feeling like autopilot. It starts to feel like participation, like you are no longer drifting, but walking side by side with the deepest part of yourself. And maybe that's what it means in the end to become who you truly are. If you've continued watching this video till now, please let me know what did you like about this video, and I'll see you in my next one.